Today we're here to solve every photographer's biggest debate: RAW versus JPEG. Which one should you choose? If you're ever wondering why your photos don't look as vibrant or detailed as you'd like, well, it might just be the format that you're shooting in. Ready to dive into the big debate? Let's go. So let's start with the basics. What exactly are RAW and JPEG files? RAW files are uncompressed and unprocessed images straight from your camera's sensor, so you can think of them as digital negatives. They capture all the data from the sensor, giving you maximum flexibility in post-processing. On the other hand, JPEG files are compressed and processed images. Your camera applies some adjustments like sharpening, contrast, and color correcting before saving the image. On the other hand, JPEG files are compressed and processed images. Your camera applies some adjustments like sharpening, contrast, and color correction before saving the file. JPEGs are smaller in size and ready to use straight out of the camera. Now, you might be wondering, which one should I use? Well, it depends on what you need and how you work with your photos. Let's talk about the pros and cons of each format so that you can decide which one suits you best. First, let's start with RAW. The first pro of RAW files is that it gives you more control over your edits. Since they contain all of the data, you can recover highlights, shadows, and adjust white balance with more precision. 2, because they're uncompressed, RAW files retain more detail and have higher quality. And lastly, editing a RAW file doesn't alter the original data, so you can always revert to the original image. Now, when it comes to cons, RAW files are much larger than JPEGs, so they take up a lot more storage space. 2, RAW files require editing before they can be shared or printed, which means more time spent in front of your computer. And 3, not all devices and software can open RAW files, so you'll need specific programs like Adobe Lightroom or Photoshop. Now let's look at JPEGs and their pros. First, JPEGs are compressed, so they take up less space on your memory card and hard drives. Second, JPEGs are processed in camera, meaning they're ready to use straight away, which is perfect for quick sharing or printing. And lastly, all devices and software can open and view JPEGs, making them very convenient. As for cons, since JPEGs are compressed and processed, you will have less flexibility in post-processing, which means you can't recover as much detail from highlights and shadows. 2, compression can lead to a loss of quality, especially if you edit the JPEG multiple times. And third, the adjustments made by your camera are baked into the JPEG, so if you don't like how the camera processed the image, unfortunately, you're stuck with it. So, which one should you choose? If you're a beginner or need images quickly for social media, JPEGs are your best bet. They're convenient and they look great straight out of the camera. But if you're serious about photography and want the best quality with more editing control, RAW is the better choice. It gives you the flexibility to make your photos truly shine. I personally prefer shooting in RAW because I love to have full control over my edits, but there's no right or wrong answer. It's all just about what works best for you and your workflow. For example, Fujifilm cameras are famous for their excellent JPEG output straight from the camera. Many Fujifilm users prefer shooting in JPEG because the in-camera processing is so good that they often don't even need to edit the photos afterward. Canon and Nikon, two of the most popular camera brands, offer both RAW and JPEG options. These cameras are great for those who want the flexibility to choose between quick JPEGs and more editable RAW files. Smartphones are another interesting case. Most smartphones default to shooting in JPEG to save storage space and make sharing easier. However, many high-end smartphones nowadays offer the option to shoot in RAW, giving you the best of both worlds: convenience and quality. To sum it up, both can be used for your photography business or for personal use. It all really depends on your preferences and the trust that you have in your camera. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more photography tips. Leave a comment to let us know which format you prefer and why. Also, let us know what other photography topics you'd like us to cover. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, friends!